for families of children with Down syndrome and other abilities. That has a directory of services and resources, and we are growing. Um, that's all I'm gonna say, because we got we got some good stuff coming. Our supply drive actually kicks off July 1st, so please, please, please donate to the supply drive. It's for families of children with disabilities, and those who are in need within that community. And so just go to the website empowersociety21.org. You can donate that way, or you can do some people have done where I do the pickup for Walmart or whatever store it is. I can do that. So if you are outside of the Chicagoland area and you want to donate, just hit me up and we can arrange that. So tonight's conversation is embracing differences. And because I'm in the nonprofit sector and I have a nonprofit for individuals and their families with Down syndrome and other abilities, I'm a human rights advocate, chair. I am an ambassador for the National Down Syndrome Society. I am a board member for the National Association for Down Syndrome. I do a plethora of things. I'm in the community, helping to change policies, helping families essentially to have a better life, a better experience, helping families who are in need because a lot of them need it. And so this is something that I do. And so I'm just giving you a little background in addition to all of the other stuff that I do. So this is embracing differences. And imagine having the notice, because there are a lot of people that are having babies, right? And you are excited about bringing this life into the world, and then you find out that the child has a disability, let's just say Down syndrome. And there is testing that will show that during the pregnancy. And so then you're like, okay, what does this mean? And one, we live in a world where even doctors don't have all of the information. They will tell a parent the wrong information or based on their own opinion, not the actual facts. So it actually will scare the parent. But just imagine that you have a child that you're excited about, and then you're like, you're hit with this news. And then you're like, okay, you know what? We're going to have this baby. We're going to, bring them into the world, give them the best, and all of this other stuff, only to find that people do not accept your child as is. This is what a lot of parents who have children with disabilities face on a day-to-day basis. And it is very heartbreaking because children are innocent. They come into the world and they're just a beautiful blessing. But to have a society that does not accept or embrace your child because they are quote unquote different is really heartbreaking, and it's really disturbing. And it's really a lot of adults who are doing this, who are non-acceptant of children who have disabilities. And I really don't understand that mindset, because here it is, if you were in that parent's shoes, would you want your child to be accepted just like their parent? A lot of times we don't step outside of our own, whatever we have in our own minds. And this is the other part. A lot of adults have their own hang-ups about being teased as kids and trying to prove that they're not whatever it was that, the world told them that they were. So now you take what you have going on inside of you and spew that out on somebody else's child, or even instill those same things into your own child, and they go out into the world and make fun of someone's child just because they look different from them. That's absolutely absurd. But this is the world that we live in, and everybody wants to be accepted in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Adults want to be accepted, and especially children want to be accepted, and everybody should be accepted as is. There shouldn't be where you have to become this pretty perfect package, because there's no such thing. There's no such thing as a perfect person. There's no such thing as perfect anything. Everything is flawed, essentially. But making a world where we are more sensitive and embrace the differences of others, because we all have had our struggles, whether you're born with a learning disability, which is something that a lot of children actually have, a lot of adults still have, and it's not talked about. There are a lot of children, especially in our community, being born with autism. And I have my theory on that whole autism. I've done some research and found that that is something that has been created because of other factors, and I'm just gonna leave it there because I have to be careful in how I'm phrasing this, because a lot of people are not well versed on the underlying causes of autism, and there's many. There are a lot of studies that talk about diet. There are studies that talk about vaccinations. There are studies that talk about how these things alter the DNA to cause autism. And there are studies where parents have done something different, where they altered their child after finding out the diagnosis. They altered their child's diet and noticed a change in behavior and development and everything. So there are a lot of studies out there, and I think that a lot of us should actually look into those things, because you would be surprised that a lot of doctors are not well versed on different abilities. They're not well versed when it comes to autism. They're not well versed when it comes to Down syndrome. Down syndrome is actually the oldest chromosomal disorder, and a lot of people don't even know that. They don't know that because there's a lot of myths surrounding Down syndrome, where they believe that, the woman, she's over 40. No, that's not true. Me being in the space in the disability community and sitting on the board of directors and just being a part of all of these different organizations, I have found where there are parents having children that are under 30. Hear me clearly. A lot of them under 30 that are having babies with Down syndrome. It's just something that happens with the chromosomes, and they're born with a little something extra. If you all see, like when I post, because I have my my nonprofit page, Empower Society app, because we have the mobile app too. You can go on there, make sure you follow the page, Instagram and Facebook. But I talk about different facts regarding Down syndrome. I also post inspirational stories and just different things. So go over there. I'm actually going to delve more into policies and different things so that parents are aware of what's going on, what they need to be aware of, and to help them through this process, through this journey. So a lot of, and especially, I'm just going to be specific, our community, the African American community, I feel is very judgmental when it comes to people that are different. And I don't know if it stems from things that we have been taught going back, years and years ago from ancestors, because there was once a thing that if your child is born different, there's a curse, and there's no curse. It's not a curse. God made everybody different. God made everybody and put them here for a reason. And we don't know the reason why certain people are born a certain way. We don't know the reason why we're even born a certain way, because we're not perfect. You have people, you got fat people, you got skinny people, you got dark-skinned people, light-skinned people, people with big noses, big foreheads, big feet, big features. Like, you have people from all walks of life that look different. You have people who might be stronger in math, some might be stronger in science, some may not get it all together. You have people that are, like I said, born with different abilities. They may have autism. There are some disabilities that's not even diagnosed. And it's really crazy because I have seen plans, like behavior plans, where there are disabilities that doctors haven't even tapped into. They don't know what to call it. And it's really odd to me, because you would think that the medical field has come so far, but they really haven't. Like, if you can have a child that's 50, 60, well, not even a child, at this point they're adults. So you have a 50, 60-year-old with a undiagnosed disability. Like, who's really researching that? The organization who's really good though for research, on the research tip, is what is it called? The National Down Syndrome Council. And there is another one. I'm trying to think of the name of it, because they have conferences and they spend millions and billions of dollars on research. And those are actually the organizations that parents really need to be tapped into, the ones who actually cater to them and do the research, not necessarily doctors, because a lot of the information that's on the computer, a lot of the information that's in their books is outdated. Just like they're still saying that there's one, that a person with Down syndrome is 1 in 700 babies, but it's not. It's so common, and actually parents think that they're alone on an island with a Down syndrome diagnosis, and they're really not. It's just as common as autism, but like I said, because of the research that I have done on autism, I know that the reason why it is brought to the forefront is because there's a lot of research that talks about autism being linked to diet and vaccinations, and it's really what they're pumping into the food, not necessarily what the mother is eating. So that is the research that is out there. I even came across some research in 2014 about it was actually the CDC that admitted to vaccinations being linked to autism, and then they took it down. And I really wish that I had have gotten a back then we didn't have screenshots. We wasn't really screenshotting nothing, but I wish that I had saved that, because I actually had a bit of a back and forth with a scientist who was like, she actually does work with the CDC, and she was like, no, that's not accurate. And I said, yes, I actually had several people to read the same article, so there are witnesses to what I read, and it was on the CDC's website. It's not even in the archives anymore. It's removed. So your girl does her research, but in that situation, I did not save that. I didn't know that they would take that down, but the CDC actually admitted that at one point in 2014 that autism was linked to vaccinations. So, and a lot of studies have actually shown that that parents that have gotten their child vaccinated after the second birthday have experienced changes that then come out to be diagnosed as autism after those second year vaccinations. So you can do your own research, but your girl has researched this for a while. But I just wanted to come on here and just talk about, I'm just giving you some background information to just show how common disabilities are. They can be physical. All are not seen, all are not diagnosed. The medical industry is not well versed on this, and that's why I am not so keen on doctors, because they go based off a textbook and they don't actually delve into certain things, or they go based on opinion and they tell you things based on their opinion and not necessarily something that was really well researched. So, and also the facts that are up by the CDC, they're very outdated. I wish that they would update that. If I come across that lady again who does her research with the CDC, I'm going to tell her they need to update their facts when it comes to children with disabilities, especially those with Down syndrome, because their stuff is all outdated. They're giving parents the wrong information. They're giving the world the wrong information. A lot of the stuff is incorrect. But this is about embracing differences. Knowing all of these things, this conversation is about being sensitive to other people who are not exactly like you, because that is what you would also want for yourself and you would also want for your child. A lot of times we don't put ourselves in the shoes of other people, and we will project our own whatever we went through unknowingly, and spew out certain things, especially that R word, which is actually supposed to be getting removed from everything. The R word is supposed to be getting removed, and it's really offensive. It is really, and a lot of people don't really realize that, because if you had a child that had a disability, you would not want anybody to be calling them the R word. It creates an environment to where that person, who is on the receiving end of that word, feel uncomfortable, feel like something's wrong with them. And I think that we need to have a more inclusive environment all the way around, and stop using that word, because it's an ill word. To me, it's the same as using the B word, but a lot of people have normalized that word, and I don't really see why that is, because technically it's still negative, but people can't help to be born a certain way. So why would you use a terminology that is derogatory in that regard, tearing them down? You wouldn't want anybody to tear you or your child down. There's too many mothers out here screaming, I don't play about my kids, but yet you tearing somebody else's kid down. It's so many people out here talking about, oh, well, I'm positive and I do this and I do that, but yet you're spending your time tearing other people down by the words that you speak, even to other people's kids. You have to watch what you say and how you say it, because all of the things that you say and do comes back to you. Whether it is you yourself or your offspring, it will come back. So you really have to be careful with that. But we should normalize embracing other people in our community that don't specifically look like how we look. Especially children who are innocent, who have, they're just here experiencing the world, and then they should have a good experience. Everything in life does not have to be negative and hard and all of those different things. Maybe that was how, your life might have been. I know my life was not the easiest. People, may assume that it was. But, child, if you watch all of the conversations that I've had, and I have talked about a lot of different things that I have gone through, experience, child, it has not been easy. Go to my YouTube channel, Tiana Nichelle the Visionary, and you will see some of them past conversations, honey. So life has not been easy, but the reason why I do what I do, and I like to empower other people, and I'm working in the disability community, and I'm working in the Down syndrome community, and I have my own organization and app and all of those different things, is because what I have experienced has made me more sensitive to other people and their circumstances. And it's funny because a lot of us deal with different things in our lives and we dismiss it, or we're like, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? I'm such a good person. But how are you really looking at that situation? Are you taking that situation and just making it a woe is me situation? Or are you going to take that situation and help somebody else? Every situation that you go through, every person that you encounter, all of those things are supposed to be utilized to help someone else. And a lot of people will say, well, nobody helped me. Well, if you did not receive the help, then you know that somebody else needs the help. So why not make somebody else's life easier? Because essentially, by you helping somebody else, you wind up getting blessed. And unknowingly, you wind up getting blessed. And the cycle continues, because as long as you're giving, the blessings keep flowing. That's how that works. Some people will call it karma. Some people will call it the object of sowing and reaping. Whatever you call it, but whatever you put out there, it does come back to you. And you should want to make other people's lives better, especially kids, especially people who are vulnerable. I believe that if we all looked at people differently, especially in our community, because here's the thing, I sit on a board for an organization that's all white people. There is not an ounce of black except for me. I'm the only board member. You can fact check that, because you can just do a Google search and go on their website. My picture's up there, only black face. And being around white people, they accept their children as is, a lot of them in the community, and they're advocates, and they're going out and they are doing the work, and they're trying to make change, and they're doing all of the things. And then we get back to our community where our people are not feeling safe to even say that they have a child with a disability, which is crazy to me, but that is the culture. I have talked to parents. There was one parent specifically that had multiple children with autism, and she was saying that she had nobody, like nobody. Um, Even the her spouse was not really present like she thought he should be, and that's the other thing that I have found, dealing with, being in the community, I should say, but um, having conversations with other parents who maybe were married, it puts a strain on the relationship. But there are still more, it's still more support in the white community where there's more of those fathers that are present than in our own community. And we really need to change that dynamic, because fathers are very necessary, all accords. I'm grateful that my father was there. For those of you who don't know, my sister had Down syndrome. She actually passed. It'll be 3 years, August 25th. But my dad was present. He didn't walk out. He didn't, leave and all of that kind of stuff. And so my sister had a great relationship with him before he passed. He passed, it'll be 24 years on September 11th. So he's been gone. But she was a daddy's girl, and he was a big influence, in her life. Like, that was the highlight, her talking about him and how she just be like, Daddy, it's necessary. Like, he really supported, and so that influence, that male influence, is very necessary. But I do see more of the fathers in the white community versus our community, because more likely than not, those ones are accepted. Last year, I went to the fashion show for the National Association for Down Syndrome, and there were so many fathers, so many families, and like a lot. And there were grandmothers and aunties, and it was like the whole village came out for these children, and we don't really see that in our community. Like, we need to start showing up like that. There was a couple of black families that I actually got to talk to, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, you're on a board! Like, that's amazing. It's amazing to meet you. It's a pleasure to meet you. It's an honor." Like, and I was just like, I told my story, the reason why I was invited to be on the board, because I was advocating for my sister, and have been on the board of directors for 4 years. And so, but I've been in the community for a minute. I was doing a lot of things with her and advocating for her for so many years. And I am proud of that, because it gave her a life that was fulfilling. Like, she had all of these different things that she liked to do, and we did them, whether it was classes or going to the beach or going wherever. And I was her advocate in many different ways. And so I feel like that is something that needs to be normalized within our community, is advocating for those who do not have a voice. That is something that I am going to be more vocal about actually going forward. So you're going to see some of my content actually change, where I am going to talk more about things that are going on within that community. I'm still going to, put up the inspirational messages, the affirmations, or whatever, the empowerment messages, and all of the different things. But I'm going to add more advocacy things for families who have children with disabilities. And I'm not going to make it just exclusive to Down syndrome, but because the app is no longer just inclusive of Down syndrome, it is of all abilities, because we have lawyers, and we're actually expanding to have a lot of healthcare workers in the app. I actually have someone that's working on that right now as we speak. But we have different businesses and insurance, which is very necessary. Life insurance, get a life insurance policy. If you have a child with a disability, you can get life insurance. You can qualify for life insurance. So go to the app, Empower Society app, in your Google Play, in your Apple App Store, and click on the directory, and you'll be able to see all of the different resources. There are other organizations. There's Gigi's Playhouse. There's Emerge Fitness. It's a lot. It's a lot, child. But go there. If you're looking for the insurance, you got to scroll down a little bit. It's the Family Insurance. I believe that's the name of the organization. But get in contact with them and get you some life insurance, because it definitely will come in handy if, God forbid, something happened to you or your child. It is very necessary, so go there. But I want to make sure that our people are well versed, because there are a lot of us out here dangling. A lot of us out here trying to figure it out. A lot of us are hiding. A lot of us are not being vocal because we're scared of the backlash that happen for, saying, okay, I have a child with a disability. I'm a family member of someone with a disability. Like, let's get over that, and let's stop using the R word too, because that's not nice. Like, let that go. Get that out of your vocabulary. It's very offensive. I don't like it, and it's supposed to be getting removed from a lot of the documentation and different things. So I will keep you all posted on that one, because there is going to be a policy change on that. But let's be more inclusive of everybody. We talk about inclusivity because now, people have gotten into the space where they talk about fat shaming, and I think it's really silly. I feel like it's a lot of stuff that's just really silly at this point in life. Like, stuff just don't make sense. We find a reason to find a negative in everything. And I think that after going through COVID, after people fighting for their lives, after losing loved ones, body image, face image, all of the different things or whatever is minuscule. Like, it's really silly to point out somebody else's flaws when you have your own flaws. And I think that we should really change how we see other people, and even how we see ourselves, because a lot of the things that are being spewed is based on how you feel about yourself. It's so funny because I actually finished my certification in trauma-informed coaching, and a lot of the stuff that we have dealt with in our childhood is wrapped up all in our neurological system. And it's almost like if we haven't worked through those things, it's still us repeating the trauma in our head and then spewing it out of our mouths when we degrade someone else. It is because we feel inadequate or have internalized someone else telling us that we're not enough, or something is wrong with us because of X, Y, and Z. We internalize those things, and then we in turn either act out or traumatize somebody else because of our own trauma. And it's really interesting, even in the cycles that we repeat, and how we deal with life and how we handle or not handle things. It all goes back to our childhood and how we were raised, and how we were disciplined, or the things that we experienced. Maybe, some of us, we didn't experience the love of two parents. Maybe it was an aunt or an uncle. And then there are some who dismiss being raised by a loving family, even outside of, their own family. Because I've talked to people who have not been raised by moms and dads, that were raised by grandmothers, aunts, uncles, and they dismiss the effort that went into making their lives better via the relative, because they were looking for that parent, that acceptance from their parent, and there's something that's still there, because there's a rejection factor that they're feeling, and so they can't see the good or the pain and the trauma that they have not cycled out of. So it's very interesting, but a lot of us are dealing with that. If you don't get into some healing, if you don't go to a therapist, a life coach, you can book a session with me. The link is in my bio if you are on Instagram, because I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and this will be on YouTube in the morning, so you can see the replay in the morning. But book a session and we can get into some healing if you are ready to be transformed. I share my own story of the different things that I had to navigate through, and to be at the place that I'm at today is really amazing. To have the joy that I have today is really amazing. It was not easy. It's still not easy. Every day is a journey. Every day is something new. And so, healing is an ongoing process. It doesn't stop, because you can be triggered by something that happened 20 years ago, and then you have to uncover why that happened. So, but yes, book your session. Link is in the bio. But all of those things that we have buried inside of us comes out, and it spews out in negative ways. So that is why there's so much negativity in the world, because a lot of people haven't dealt with their own stuff. But a lot of the times we are still dealing with that childhood stuff that made us feel like we weren't enough. And so we carry that, and then, influence other children, or maybe you have your own children, but influence them to look at the world the way that you look at it. And it's really not, in a way, it's not fair, because you're putting your own beliefs on them rather than allowing them to embrace, because children are naturally, and I used to be a teacher, so this is where I'm coming from. Child, I done a lot of stuff. I done been in a lot of arenas. Analyst, teacher, paralegal, coordinator, event planner. Child, I done did it all. I done did it all. A bit, yeah, did it all. But when I was a teacher, I noticed that children naturally are curious. They're naturally like welcoming. They're not hesitant unless they feel like there's danger. But a lot of times when they see another child, they're like, and it's a natural thing. But when we as adults start to tell them, no, come over here because such and such, they look like this, or no, and then you start putting in their mind that something is wrong with such and such, or putting in their minds different things, and now they start looking at the world differently. But their natural instinct is not to have those thoughts, because they're really like a clean slate that have to be molded, and a lot of the times we're the ones that give them the molding. But in all honesty, a lot of that stuff is based on our own trauma, and it's not based on a real fact or danger. But we should really start as a community embracing the differences that are within our community, being more accepting, because you will find that you being more accepting to other people will actually enrich your life. And the more that we do this as a community, the less we will have all of these stigmas and people pointing out people's flaws and highlighting them and making it, the big news on the block, and then making everybody feel uncomfortable, because that's essentially what's being done, is making everybody feel uncomfortable in their skin. This is why a lot of people are going and getting their bodies done and face changes and different just things that I feel like is body mutilation. That's just my opinion, because it's like, yes, it's fine that you want to look a certain way, but you didn't have this idea of looking this way before you saw a Cardi B, or before you saw whoever these people are. Because if we think back prior to 2020, everybody was not running out to get a BBL. As a matter of fact, we did not even know what a BBL was, a lot of us. And then all of a sudden, everybody in the masses go out and they get in tummy tucks and BBLs and just all of these different surgeries to look like everybody else, because it wasn't acceptable to look like themselves. That's really what we're saying. When a lot of these people get these things done and they're still not happy. And it's a lot to be said with that. You spend $20, $30, $40, $50,000 getting your body worked out and you still not happy. I have seen a lot of conversations in different arenas where women have gotten these things done and then they regret it, because there's so much that happens behind it. People don't tell you that you have to keep this stuff up once you get it done. Or if they went out and did the injections back in the day and got all of these things so they can have a plumper behind, was it 2004 or whenever, they was doing, a lot of the video vixens were doing this back then, getting the injections in their butts and stuff, because somebody somewhere told them they have a flat butt, right? And in order to be in this video or make more money in the industry, they need to go out and get these butts. Now you have all of these people who are now trying to reverse this because it has caused them so much pain. There's a lot of repercussions that have happened behind it, where they have fluids leaking in different places, and what is it called, polymers, and different things going on where their body is starting to like literally fall apart. Some parts are dead. I've seen the pictures, and it's just really disturbing, but it goes back to not feeling accepted, not feeling like they were enough. Even girls who have gotten their boobs done, and they're like, I need a bigger chest. Like, really, what is that? But okay, you need a bigger chest, and then you go get your boobs done, and maybe the doctor has told you that you needed a certain size boob. They put the boob in, and it is too big for your little frame. Now you gotta go get it done all over again. Like, I watched a video, and this young girl did that. She's an influencer, really young, and I was just like, that is ridiculous. Now, because when she got it, it was so big, and she's a little tiny person, like maybe a size 6, maybe 4, 6, somewhere in between them. She in between. She really little. But the doctor gave her a nice size, and her chest was like up here, like literally up here, and it was too much. And then she's having problems. It's all tight here. The doctor is like, you need to come back in, and she wound up having to get a smaller size, but she had to go through a couple surgeries. When who told you that you weren't enough? Who told you that your body wasn't fine? I can see you getting yourself together for health reasons. Like, I've been getting myself together, so I can be in better health. And baby, knocking down over 100 pounds is amazing. I will tell you. And I still got a ways to go, because I have my goal. But I can see that if you're doing something so that you can be in better physical health, so you can live longer, so you can have a better quality of life, that's one thing. But to do something to your body because you don't feel is acceptable, you don't feel that you're enough, it's really heartbreaking that people have to go through all of these different things in order to be accepted. So I really believe that we should start embracing people as is, because people are really struggling with their image, their minds. It's a lot of mental health issues are based upon not feeling accepted, not feeling loved, wanted, appreciated. A lot of mental health issues come up out of that. And so we see a lot of people committing suicide and things like that. The root of that is non-acceptance. It's not that person is just crazy, and we need to stop using words like crazy and using the R word. And I say the R word, you all know what I mean. Just using terms to describe people who are different. We need to be more sensitive to that and change that narrative, because everybody, and I'm going to say this, we are all the ones that appear like there's nothing going on, like you're perfectly normal, perfectly healthy. Your brain is a computer. Your body is like a computer. And at any point, that bad boy can malfunction, and you could be in a state of where you are not yourself, whether you might have some type of challenge with your limbs. We are all one step away from being disabled. If we're being honest, you can go get in a car accident, even if it's not something that happens to you neurologically, you can get in a car accident and be disabled. There are a lot of people that got in car accidents and lost limbs, and now they're amputees. And they have to figure out life like this. And people, will look at them, weird, or, like, okay, how did this happen, or whatever the case may be, but not realizing that we at any point, you could be the same way. So you are not exempt from being disabled. Your family member is not exempt from experiencing that. Nobody is exempt from that. So we have to practice just being more sensitive and embracing people for who they are, rather than always trying to find something wrong with someone. The world is negative enough. We have experienced enough negativity to really last us a lifetime, if we're being honest, as adults. And so we should not want to continue in that manner. And I know that for some, you may not know how else to be, but you know that it doesn't feel good to you, so why would you do it to somebody else? That's just my rationale. But I'm just saying, like, if you don't like how I feel, then why you gotta do that to somebody else? Not cool. But just working on just being more acceptance to people, because we all came here for a specific purpose. We all want to be accepted. We all want to have a better quality of life. We all want to be in a space where we feel loved and appreciated and, valued and all of the things. And we don't want to have to worry about what somebody else thinks about us, right? And so if you know that is where you are, and some people will say that they don't care, but deep down inside you do care. It is just that you have been so traumatized by not being accepted, by whatever happened in your developmental stages, that you are now desensitized, and so now your response is whatever. But you do care. You do care what other people say or think. You do care. And so knowing that, you should want to make someone else's life happier and healthier, and being more supportive, but more specifically to those who have disabilities, being more sensitive to them, being more helpful even to their parents, because a lot of those parents deal with a lot already, from having to deal with the opposition of society, from having to deal with doctors who might have even told them to get rid of their child, because you have doctors that say that, from dealing with school teachers who are not on their side, or administration, having to get the IEPs done, and getting all of this different assistance where you got to go through all of these different state funding in different programs, and it's a lot. It's a whole world that a lot of people don't even know about. Getting all the therapies and all the things and whatever the supports to just help them to have a better life. A lot of those times parents are drained, they're stressed, they're sad, they're going through all of the different emotions, and they need as much support as possible. And that's actually what Empower Society is about, is providing that type of a support system for those parents, really for families, because I also do sibling workshops where I help siblings navigate through certain issues with dealing with their sibling with a disability. So We will have more of those coming up. If you would like to be a part of the sibling workshop, just shoot me a email, contact at empowersociety21.org. Even the podcast that I have, I am going to, which is on Spotify, I'm going to talk about more issues surrounding disability, even bringing on parents and caretakers, healthcare providers, and different people in different spaces that cater to that community. I'm going to bring them on as guests, and if you would like to be a part of that, you can email me, and I would love to have you to come on. Let's just give support, even with so another part of my organization is giving scholarships this year. I am giving away a scholarship to a family that's in need. So if you want to put your hat in that ring, then the form is not actually up. The actual form is not on the website, but I can actually email you a form to fill out for that. So contact at empowersociety21.org if you would like to put your hat in the ring for the scholarship for parents who have children with disabilities who are in need. Also, if you would like to donate, and we really need donations because there's so many families that we want to help. Last year, we helped 400 families, 400 students, I should say, actually over 400 students, get school supplies. And this year, we want to help more. So we really need those donations because there are a lot of families who have children with disabilities that are struggling financially to support their child and to give them all of the things that they need. So we really, really need your support. We really need your donations to be pouring in because it will really, really help. Our school supply drive is going from July 1st to August 24th. And we will be delivering these donations to families. We might even have some school deliveries because last year we had a few schools that said, hey, we need you. And so I went where the need was because they said that the parents did not have what the children needed for the school year. They didn't have book bags and notebooks and all of those things. I actually have some supplies that I have received already, like back in February. I was given a batch of supplies, but we actually need more because I do have some schools that are on the waiting list because we wound up creating a waiting list because there was a demand, and we ran out. We ran out completely. So this year we want to be a blessing and we want to make sure that those students get the supplies that they need. They might also need different aids. And so we want to be able to bless those parents and give them that. So again, if you would like to donate, go on the website. You can donate. You can PayPal us to Empower Society. It is on our website too, so empowersociety21.org. What else? Just, and there's more that we're doing because we are looking at having more outings for families within our community. And so we actually will need more donations so that we can take families that have children with disabilities and give them more experiences that they would otherwise not have. and that is something that we would like to do. We want to be a blessing in every way. And so we need those donations to roll in order to be a blessing to these families. But a lot of the experiences would be something that are educational, that would be, because we're looking at doing different cultural experiences, educational, taking them to different schools. We're looking at just different things that we can provide. We actually found an amusement park that is specifically for people with disabilities, which is really amazing to me. You see my eyes lit up and everything because I was like, whoa, this is like big. But we want to go there. We want to take our families there. So we really, really need you in that regard. But I say all that to say is that parents and children and families of individuals with disabilities really need support from our communities. We really need you to embrace the differences, because if you were in that person's shoes, you would want the same thing. You will want the same support. So, and you probably want that even now, but in order to get that, you have to actually give that. And you will find that those families are so appreciative, and you just never know what doors you will open, even by being connected, even to us. Because we are linking with other organizations. We've linked with quite a few business owners who are catering to the community. Also, if you are a business owner, July 16th is my networking gala for business owners. If you are a business owner, the tickets and everything, you can get that information from me. But it's going to be over 300 businesses in the room. And it's going to be an amazing experience. So if you are a business owner, you have a business, you want to network, you want to get your business name out there, get your tickets. You can inbox me, DM me, whatever you have to get your tickets to the gala. If you want to be a sponsor, I can give you that information. What else? Let's see. The supply drive, networking event. The networking event is really going to be off the chain, y'all. I'm just saying, like, it's going to be nice. I have the previous one, let me tell you, from Christmas. The Christmas one, it was nice. It was real nice. But dinner is included. It will be a night of Black excellence. You will be able to meet other business owners, be in the space. Bring your business cards, your apps. There's apps with the business card on there where you can just send it to the phones, have that ready, and get into your formal gear, your formal attire. Come looking good, baby. Come looking good. And let's just have a night of excellence. And it's going to be a good time. It's really going to be a good time. So just shoot me a message and you can get your tickets that way. What else? Let's see. I just really want to empower our community in so many different ways. And even in the job arena, I'm working on some things with that, so that our people, moms moms especially who have children with disabilities, or those who are stay-at-home moms who want to get back into the workforce. I'm working on some things with getting those individuals employment. So working on that too. So I want to empower our community in so many ways, and I need your help in that regard. If it is that you know, give words of encouragement to somebody that helps. It's not always where you have to donate something, but giving words of encouragement. We appreciate every donation you can donate. If you would like to assist, we do need assistance. Even with the networking event, we do need some assistance with setting up, serving. We need assistance in different ways. So if you would like to volunteer for that, you can also inbox me. What else? I do have a future event coming up, one in the fall and one in the winter. And so, you want to be in the room for those too. And I will share that information as it comes. I am also doing the relaunch of my healing class. I did a healing master class last year, and I'm relaunching that class. It will be in September. I'll give you the exact date. More information is to come. But it'll be a healing master class, helping you navigate through grief, trauma, and loss. And I feel like this one it's really going to be good. It's really going to be transformational. So you really need to get in the room. It's going to be virtual, but you really want to be a part of this if you are really trying to heal. There are going to be assignments that you will have to do. So you really need to be serious about this before you sign up for the class, because when I tell you, once you get through it, it's going to be life-changing. Like, you are really going to look at life a whole lot differently when you get finished with the master class. So that will be in September, and there will be more information to come. So I have given you all the information. We have had the conversation about embracing differences, about being the change that you want to see, and getting yourself into, some healing from the things that you were told, how you were maybe mishandled, mismanaged, told that you weren't enough. Baby, you are enough. You are smart. You are important. You are worthy. You are amazing. You are here to do amazing things. And we need to give more of that. Give more positivity, more empowerment. And I'm here for it all. I am here for it. But this conversation is really about embracing all of the differences, especially those of individuals with disabilities, but even embracing your own differences. And it's okay to be different. You were sent here not to be a clone, but to stand out, to excel and exceed in your purpose. And that is what you were sent here for. But you really have to get to the roots of different things, of the truth of the matter of what you might be dealing with, your thought process. surrounding your own self-esteem, and a lot of times we don't even realize that that is an issue. I know for me that was an issue, but it was because of all of the different things that I had experienced. So unraveling those things, and once you unravel those things, you'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll have more energy, you will embrace life, and your happiness will not be predicated upon another person. That's the other part. A lot of the times when you are not healed, you think that other people will make you happy, and that's not the truth. Your own happiness has to come from within, and so you really have to do the work. A relationship is not going to make you happy. Getting your body done is not going to make you happy. All of the different things, however you dress it up, however, whatever you do, it will not make you happy. It has to come from within. So you can be the light, so that you can, have a better experience even in life, and you will be able to empower other people to do the same. Again, your life experiences and everything that you went through was not in vain. It should not be in vain. Use those life experiences to help someone else. Look at what you wish that someone would have done for you to have made your life better growing up, or maybe even now through maybe some situations, and use that as fuel to change someone else's life. So with that, just make sure that you embrace your differences and the differences in other people. Embrace life. Get into some healing, so that you can transform yourself and be just the best version. And with that, I will see you later. Make sure that you watch the replay of this on my YouTube channel, Tiana Nichelle the Visionary. You can also see other videos. Child, there's so many videos. Please go there, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell to know when I go live, because I'm going to start doing more lives on YouTube versus Facebook and Instagram. So and make sure you subscribe to my podcast. We're going to be getting busy, child. So it's the Empower Society podcast, and right now it's on Spotify. So make sure that you not watch, but listen to past episodes. And there will be some new episodes. Actually, one is going to drop tomorrow. So make sure that you go on there and you listen. Also, make sure that you follow Empower Society app. And download the doggone directory, child. The directory that give you daily motivation. Because who do directory do that, baby? Give you daily motivation, daily inspiration. We do that. So, with that, I will see you next week. Maybe sooner, but I will see you next week. You all have a great weekend.